So this is really, really crazy. Yesterday I was doing a Pick My Take live stream where, you guys get to pick what I play, and that's about it. Pretty simple stuff. During that live stream, for some reason, the topic of the Sherman was brought up. And I went down the tier 6 to look at the Sherman and stumbled upon this, the Sherman Easy8. Now I was like, when did Wargaming give the Easy8 PBR? And I was like, wait a second, they haven't. I looked on the tech tree, and I was like, they haven't given the Easy8 PBR. And it's not a collector. What's going on here? Well, my brain started thonking, and then I realized that this is the tutorial take. And it's not just the Sherman Easy8. We also have the Tiger 1 from the tutorial, and the T-3485 on my account. Now, I actually contacted my Wargaming CC manager and said, hey, am I allowed to make a video on these vehicles? Because I don't want to make a video, post it, and then have you guys, like, smite me with all of the power that you have. So I sent a message yesterday. This morning I woke up, and I actually got the go-ahead to make a video on these 3 tanks. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. I do want to thank Wargaming. And not only that, I actually got some really good news out of this. They also gave me a little promotion to share with you guys. So for any players that haven't logged into the game for the last 15 days, you are possibly going to get a notification or some sort of email. And when you log back into the game, you not only get 7 days of premium for absolutely free, but you will also get the Newcomer Battle Pass, which we can see right here. This Battle Pass is actually pretty cool. There are some lock stages which cost like $3 to unlock, but even if you don't spend any money, you still get 100 gold, and actually the camos are pretty sick. I really think that these are some of the coolest camos in the game, and you get this for free, bruh. Wargaming, give me some of these camos. These things look epic. And we've got 2 different versions of the camo. We have the red version, and then we also have the gold version, which you can see here. Bro, these camos look absolutely epic. So for any players that haven't been playing Blitz for a little bit of time, I would definitely recommend to log in, because this Battle Pass alone is pretty sick, and the fact that you get 7 days of premium as well, especially for any free-to-play players out there, I would highly recommend to take advantage of this promotion. So with that being said, we're going to do some gameplay in these tutorial tanks. I still find it kind of crazy that I get to play in these vehicles. We're going to start off with the Sherman Easy8. Now, I should mention that these are only available on press accounts, so that means you're not going to have access to these tanks on your account, and to what I've been told, they are not going to be sold. So this is kind of just something that's a little fun, I guess. I hope Wargaming, gives me some other special tanks on my press account that I can make a video on here and there. Maybe they can put the Mark 1 Heavy back on it. That would be absolutely hilarious. But yeah, we're going to start off with the Sherman Easy8, and we'll see what this vehicle can do. All right, we're on Hellas, which I actually like. This is a very fun map, especially for medium tanks. We have 12 degrees of gun depression in this vehicle, by the way, because it's a Sherman. And most Shermans do have a lot of gun depression. And we can see here that the 12 degrees is being used to its utmost max. But it's kind of wild that we can actually work this spot with our 12 degrees. So the VK does get shot. Come on, show me that hatch. Boom! Easy, right into your hatch-a-rooney. Now, they do have 2 tank destroyers, but both of them are very, very low tier, so I'm not really worried about that. Now, my Panzer IV-G YOLOing, I'm not really sure what I'm looking at there, to be honest, but hey, again, with the 12 degrees, it means I should very easily be able to work this ridgeline. And, well, let's try and get another shell into the VK. Nice! And that player's actually dead. This worked out surprisingly well. Alright, we got the P-43 BIS all the way in the back. Aiming. This thing does have a fairly long aiming time. I mean, I guess it's understandable, because it does have 12 degrees of gun depression and pretty good mobility. And actually surprisingly good hull-down armor as well. When you've got an angled plate like this one, and you have a decently troll mantlet, you can actually get bounces, but obviously the hull is still pretty weak, and you're going to have to keep that in mind. Now, this P-43 is permanently tracked from us, so that player's out of the game. That leaves only 4 tanks left. The KV-2, which just jumped off. We have a Panzer IV-S, which I have not seen at all. There's an AT-2 over here. Let's just aim it on the rear of that AT-2. There's 1 shell. I can't HE him, but There's a second shell. The Hellcat is obviously going to try and get some damage into you as well. Oh, that was a little surprising, not going to lie. I expected that to clear that player. Alright, what? This AT2, bro. It's got some wild armor. Alright, we'll actually get the clear this time. I think it just went into that side spot instead of the weak spot. But there you go. Nice tracking shell into the Su-85. We get behind. Easy clear. And then all that's left is the KV-2, really, because the Panzer IVS has 48 health. And speaking of the KV-2, you're spotted. Alright, aiming. Bonk. Easy 188 damage shot. The KV-2 hit the MT-25, but shell tracked and did not actually do any damage. As we can see, this is a pretty fun tank. It's very similar to the other Sherman variants. It has 150 damage per shot instead of 160. It does seem to have a bit better of a power-to-weight ratio, which I actually do like. Mobility is always very fun to mess around with, and definitely on this tank, the mobility feels really, really nice. Just gonna YOLO the KV-2. I don't even care if I die. Game's over, and we had a pretty good game. I think we did over 2,000 damage, which is pretty solid for a Tier 6 battle. Victory! Alright, let's take a look at these post-game results. Here we are. 2,300 damage dealt. We ended up destroying 2 enemy vehicles and assisting 740. So that actually puts us in the 3,000 mark. Pretty good stuff. We got a first class and earned 70,000 credits. Yeah. I mean, the Easy8, it's a solid vehicle. I still think that the Fury is possibly better. I always know that the Fury is like the best of the bunch. It's because it just has so much DPM. You can see when we put on double food here, and then we put on Rammer, the Fury has 2,100 DPM, and it still has a fairly accurate gun. It still has 12 degrees of gun depression. It still goes 48. This tank has a lot worse DPM, about 200-300 less, but as I said, it's a bit faster. It goes 52, and it's got a better power-to-weight ratio. So it does have an advantage, but I can't really say a huge one. My favorite is still the Frosty. I just think this tank looks amazing. I don't know how much DPM it has. It's still less than the Fury. The Fury really is kind of wild in the DPM department, but the Frosty does go 50, so still not as fast, but it's kind of a mix between both, I guess. But it does look really cool. I think we can all agree there. Either way, I think the Sherman Easy8, pretty fun vehicle. Now we move on to the T-3485, which is the exact same name as the Tech Tree T-3485. What are the differences and what are the similarities between these vehicles? Well, let's first of all just put on the basic equipment here of our Tech Tree T-3485 so we can kind of get an idea of what we're working with. So, aiming time is what, 3.6, 0.285 dispersion, and 1686 DPM with 200 alpha. And then we have this version of the T-3485, which has 3.8 seconds of aiming time, 0.29, so a little bit worse dispersion, but its DPM is higher, and it has less alpha. Interesting. Okay. I think the tank looks great. I think that this is the best looking of the three, just because of how nice the PBR appears on the tank. It has 7 degrees of gun depression, which means we can actually work ridge lines. And the nice thing about the T-3485 is that because it has that kind of beefy alpha, you can evenly trade with even Tier 7 heavies, Tier 6 heavies. It's nice in that regard where, you know, the Shermans with only 160 alpha, it's a lot less. Like, that big alpha damage difference does make this tank a lot more enjoyable for me. Oasis Palms. This is a alright map for the T-3485. Any map that's large, mobile tanks are going to do well on. And that's definitely where you're going to do pretty well on this tank. And look, guys, I 3-marked it. If only we had gun marks in Blitz. I think at some point Wargaming might add them, but probably not for a while. I do think the style looks amazing, though. I love the style that this vehicle has going for it. But you can see mobility-wise, this tank's very quick. We're chilling at 50 kilometers per hour right now. It appears that our team is not really supporting me much. The enemy team has 3 mediums. They have 2 lights, and then they have a medium tank. I have a bunch of camping I got a camping KV-2, a camping Leopard. That's great. Oh, and the Hellcat. Everybody on our team is just sitting in spawn, bro. This is the downside of playing in low tiers. It's just, like, this is your team. It actually doesn't matter where I go, now that I think about it, because no matter which position I drive my tank to, somebody's camping. But we get a nice shell into the Renault G1. We back up. We're not spotted just yet. We have the Leopard in the top of the ridge. There you go. Nice 176 into the Leopard. We're going to be able to get another shell out. No. We do have the Renault who just fired, though. Bonk. Oof. That alpha does feel so nice on this tank. 204. You just fired, which means bye-bye. We can see the accuracy is not too bad either. Like, we're hitting our shells. No problems there. 7 degrees of gun depression means we can work this ridge line at least a little bit against the KV. Oh, angled at the last second, which unfortunately meant we couldn't pen. We almost have enough gun depression to work this ridge. There you go. Terrible roll, but we still got the pen out, and that's all that matters. 140 damage. Let's see if we can get another... No, angled again. This KV is actually doing a decent job angling at, like, the worst moment for me. But because the player just fired, and because we obviously feature way more damage per minute, all we need to do is get to the side of this player. And let's just do that right now. Bonk. Easy clear. Not too bad at all. Alright, we're up to 1200 damage. We haven't bled a single hit point yet. The leopard's dead. We do have the Churchill over here, who's probably going to bleed me out at least once. I'm going to have to load gold to pen the Churchill in return, and then we can pull in the cover here. Let's see if we can get another pen. Oh, Churchill does cut right through me. Ooh, and that bounced on his lower plate as well. That's a shame. Alright. Oh, yes. There you go. Easy pen into the Churchill. Alright. Not too bad. Our team's moving up as well. Alright, we got the DS... I don't even know what the heck to pronounce that tank's name. I never have. It's got such a weird name. DS Peasians. Alright, well, our ARL gets a nice shell into the Churchill. The ARL has one of the best guns in Tier 6. Like, the level of pen and the damage per minute it has is wild. So we get a nice pen ourselves, and I would assume the ARL... Wow, the ARL bounces again. That's pretty impressive, actually. You have 200 mils of pen in that vehicle. There you go. Nice shot. And we have the enemy VK over here, which I'd love to be able to shoot. Let's aim it on that VK. Aiming. Bonk. There you go. 199. Our Leopard managed to bounce the flat side of a light tank. That's pretty impressive. Alright, there you go. Nice shot into the VK again. We're up to 2,300 damage now. We have the enemy Turbo over here. I'm Turbo-tastic. I don't know why. I watched a video on, like, Wreck-It Ralph the other day. Like, that went into my brain. Alright, well, nice shell once into the Turbo. They have an AT-8 as well, and I have no clue where that player would be, because the tank goes 20. Ah, there's the AT-8. Okay. At least we know where that player is, so that means something. Aiming, aiming. Bonk. There you go. 201. Turbo cleared my teammate, which is not necessarily great. So we got to get the Turbo out of the game before we can do anything else. And obviously, it can be a bit of a dangerous tank, especially because my Leopard is basically at like 0.2 health right now, which is not great. Let's drive over the ridge so that the Turbo can't hit me. And then I'm just kind of wasting time. Okay, Turbo's not looking at me right now, which means we can get an easy shell. There you go. Now the player's almost the same health as me. The Turbo's going to keep going. Okay, interesting. Oh, no. Well, that's not good. Alright, that's not good at all. That means it's me versus the enemy. Alright. Well, let's move over here so that the enemy Turbo can't hit me. Nice. 171 into his tank. Okay. And obviously we have the AT-8 over there. Just trying to think of exactly how I want to deal with this current situation. And, oh, there you go. We got the Turbo. Nice shell. I'm hoping that we can out-DPM this player. That's the goal. There you go. Oh, yeah, you're going down. You're going down, bro. Let's just hope that the AT can't hit me from here. Okay, we're good. Alright, so now we gotta try and hatch the AT. That's the play. Boom! Easy. Okay, not bad. Not bad. This is so sus, because if one shell from that AT hatched me. We did pretty good, though. I can't complain at all. Pretty solid job from the T-3485. And you can see why I do find this tank very enjoyable. We kind of had to rush the Turbo there, but then we got stuck in a situation I just couldn't get out of. But hey, 3,673 damage dealt. That's a pretty solid result if you ask me for a Tier 6 game. 4 kills, and we even aced the vehicle into defeat, earning 100,000 credits. That's pretty dang fun. This is a super, super solid vehicle, as we can see. I mean, it plays just like the tech tree, but it looks a heck of a lot better, so no complaints from me there. And then we finish off with the best of the bunch, the Tiger 1. This is by far the most exciting of the 3 vehicles. The reason why is because of the frontal protection this tank has. We can actually see the armor in front of us, and look at the upper plate. It's 190 millimeters thick, and the lower plate is still about 140. That means if you angle this tank properly, that upper plate's 220, and the lower plate's about 160, meaning most tier 6s will actually be bouncing you. If we take a look at the other German vehicles in the same tier, let's say, for example, the Icebreaker. This one's known for pretty good frontal protection. Well, if we scroll all the way down, we can see that the upper plate of the Icebreaker, 150, and the lower half is only 125. So the Tiger 1 has about 25 more mils of lower plate armor and about 40 more mils of upper plate armor. And it's not just this one. I mean, the Tiger 131, exact same situation. Look at this. The upper part, 100. The lower half, 113. So in every situation, the Tiger that we're going to be playing in today is just kind of flat better than all of the other Tiger 131, Icebreaker, Kuramori Mine variants. And because of that, this thing's kind of wild. And by the way, its gun isn't bad. 1,878 damage per minute. These vehicles do have a little bit more DPM. I mean, we can see, for example, if you put food and fuel on this tank, you're sitting at 1,900 DPM. But it's not really a noticeable difference. The mobility on this tank is fairly good as well. So you have this super, super strong armor profile, which is legit, like, incredible on a tier 6 heavy, which is also going to have the ability to then outtrade because of its 210 damage per shot, have decent DPM for the tier that it's at. This thing is really fun. It's actually fantastic. I kind of hope that Wargaming does release this at some point as a vehicle that you can purchase, because I think that would be super fun. But what I can tell you is that it's going to be a blast. We're on Falls Creek, and let's see what we have up against us. Spark Extreme, AM Xmas, Hellcat, T-3485. The only heavies they have are tier 5, the Mitsu 108 and the Churchill 1. So I'm not really worried here. I'm going to play fairly aggressive on the heavy side, and we'll see exactly what happens. I do love the style for this tank as well. I think this looks amazing, but I'm actually just going to play aggressive here. I think we can get away with it, and... oh, we got the Hellcat. Aw, you'll notice the gun is a little bit inaccurate. It's not too surprising, but it is something to keep in mind at least. Now, the Hellcat does have really good pen, but it did load gold to pen me, so at least we can say that our armor is holding up fairly well. We got a nice shell into the Mitsu, and we're not tall enough to shoot back, but we'll see. Well, there's the Hellcat shooting me again. That Hellcat needs to go. Like, that player is the threat. Nothing else really worries me except that Hellcat. That's the only player on the enemy team that actually poses a threat to me. Ow. What is shooting me? It's, oh, the Spark. That's what it is. Sparks are very, very annoying, as we know. And I would consider to be overpowered. Alright, let's move up here. And we're going to get into a side scrape, because that's exactly what these German vehicles are known for. Nice 280 high explosive into the enemy Hellcat. We put on our adrenaline, and let's see if we can get another HE into the Hellcat. There you go. We are getting penned, obviously, but it's not too big of a deal. We're going to reload again, and bye-bye. We are pretty low on health, so I will say that, but I don't think it matters too much. We're going to load a gold shell, get a clear into the Mitsu, and then all that's left is the Churchill, which realistically can't really pen me. We're going to see if the Churchill can pen me, but I'm going to angle and hope. Yes! This is where the armor of this tank is really, really good. Alright, come on, high roll. No! Alright, angle, angle, angle. We got another bounce. Nice. And now what I have to do is I have to clear the M4, which we did, and then I have to turn for the player here. Or not the M4, the Churchill I had to clear. And then we get the clear into you. Look at this! We're still alive! Yeah, the armor is wildly good. Like, obviously the Hellcat is going to cut through me. The tank is a tier 7 tank destroyer. It has some of the most pen in tier 6. It's kind of actually overpowered. But, apart from the Hellcat, there really wasn't much which was cutting through me there. In fact, I think that was the only tank that really penned me. That's kind of wild. And by the way, the Hellcat is like 250 mils of premium pen, so entirely understandable. Alright, there we go. Nice shot into the AM Xmas. That leaves only 2 tanks left. We have the T-3485 and the Spark Extreme. As I said, the Spark is a completely overpowered tank. It's able to deal 480 damage in like 3 seconds, which even for my vehicle is really, really scary, and I don't really want to be shot by that, but we'll see what happens. Get a nice clearance of the T-3485. And there's the Spark. Let's just get a nice shell into the side of his vehicle for 219. Let's keep on moving up. Come here, Mr. Spark. What are you doing? Aha! All right, we got penned once. Angle. Angle. No, angle again. Yes, the armor worked. Haha. As we can see, this thing is a beast in the armor department. It really is. I had a lot of fun playing in this tank. And let's take a look at the post-game results. How much damage did we end up dealing in this game? Well, 2,869. We killed 7 tanks! We killed the entire enemy team! Oh my god! That's amazing, and I ended up blocking 2,200 as well. Holy! I cannot believe we just got 7 kills. That is amazing. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A perfect game to end off with a very fun video. If you'd like to see more content like this in the future, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.